Came here in 1986 to run it for myself in October. I signed the papers and I was owner of the Red Barn Incorporated. People come in here for the experience, more so than I think anything else. And they love the fact that somebody's actually taking the time to listen. Find that balance between doing what you love that isn't really work, that might pay the bills, and more importantly, can resonate with people and actually to some extent help people. That's pretty rewarding. Without my customers, I would be doing what I don't love, guaranteed.
Today's Kennebec Valley Forum is brought to you by Dan and Scott's Cremation and Funeral Service, Sunset Flowerland and Greenhouses, and KSW Federal Credit Union.
Hi there, and welcome to another edition of Kennebec Valley Forum. We are today in Waterville visiting High Hopes Clubhouse. We're going to find out all about it, and I'm going to introduce Lisa Susie, the director, and she will introduce Scott and tell us a little bit about who you are.
So I'm Lisa Susie. I'm the director of High Hopes Clubhouse. I've been here for about 21 years at the club. And this is Scott Dubé. He's a member of the club and works full-time at Waterville Parks and Recreation with the support of the clubhouse. Good.
Tell me what it is. What is High Hopes Clubhouse?
So Clubhouse is more than a social club or more than a work center. We're a community of people. And the community of people, we support each other, that people living with mental illness can really be valuable co-workers, neighbors, and friends, and live a productive life and be part of their community and part of the workforce in the community.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about how you reach out to the community, how you interact with the community, if you would.
So we're very successful at employment for our members. Statistically, High Hopes Clubhouse has about 76% of our members working in some type of paid employment. And we partner a lot with area employers to give our folks who may not have a work history or haven't worked a long time a chance at employment. So we have several different levels of employment, ranging from group sites where staff is on hand all the time to transitional employment where they're temporary skill building jobs to supported and then on to full-time employment. We also partner a lot with the community colleges, the homeless shelter, other mental health agencies. Our agency that we're under is Kennebec Behavioral Health. So we're a very large agency, so we get lots of referrals from housing and case management and main clinic, outpatient.
That's a perfect segue. Talk to me about how many High Hopes there are and where they're located. And I understand they're a worldwide organization. So
we are. The Clubhouse model has been around for about 60 years. We are evidence-based practice. There's 300 clubhouses throughout the world in 30 different countries. And if you would walk into any of them, we all operate the same. We have 37 standards that we have to meet in order to call ourselves a clubhouse. And we go through a pretty intense accreditation process every 3 years to ensure that we're providing good services. So we have sister clubhouses that we get together with every 2 years at international seminars from all over the world.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. There's 4 clubhouses in Maine, soon to be 5. There's a clubhouse in Bangor, here in Waterville, Augusta, Lewiston, and soon to be in Topsom, Maine.
Wow, that covers pretty good. So what do I have to do to be eligible for your program?
Basically, anybody living with a history of major mental illness that's over the age of 18, the clubhouse is open to those folks. We provide services here in the clubhouse during the day, giving people meaningful work to do.
Sure.
So the members, we don't call people clients or patients.
No.
The members of the clubhouse, our colleagues, come and operate the buildings we run a business unit, we run a full food service unit, we run membership services, we do all of our own maintenance and our groundskeeping, pay our own bills, balance our checkbook. So there's lots of skills. There's lots of skills that the members can gain their confidence back and have something meaningful to do.
Awesome. Scott, you've been here for a while. You said off air here. Tell me a little bit about your experience and how you get to be involved in this.
Oh, okay. I was struggling. I was 30 years old, living back at home with moms, which isn't a very good situation for anybody to be in. And my mother kept telling me I had to go see somebody because there was something wrong. And I kept pushing her off. Nah, I'm fine. So one day she got me in the car and dropped me off at KBH. Said, I made an appointment for you. I'll pick you up later.
Yeah, wow. Wow.
So I went in and did the intake, and they told me that I suffered from a major mental illness.
Sure.
We don't discuss our issues here because this is very non-clinical.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that.
No,
but
please don't.
they told me up at KBH that I would have to file for Social Security disability, and I didn't really want to do that. And I told the nurses that I want to work. Half of my problem is I'm not working right now, and I need to work. And they said, have we got the program for you? And they recommended High Hopes. So I came down and I took the orientation. Mm-hmm. And it took me a little while, about a month, before I set foot in the building again. But once I did, I was welcomed into this community, which was quite a bit smaller at the time.
Sure.
We had an average daily attendance of about 25 when I started, and
Mm-hmm.
now it's up into the 50s.
Wow.
Excuse me. And after just having a few days here, we had a group site at an local employer, and I got a chance to go back to work, and that gave me the confidence to actually go and find my own work outside of that.
That's great.
And it doesn't mean I'm cured.
No.
I've learned that lesson the hard way a couple of times.
You'll never be cured. You're going to have to adapt to it.
And that's something that I struggled with.
Yeah.
That this is something that I'm going to have. It's nothing that's going to ever go away.
Right.
And having the clubhouse here, there are days when I walk in and the receptionist will smile at me. Hey, how's it going? And that's exactly what I need.
Yep.
For that day.
Yep.
And I have a place to come and be with people who are in similar situations.
Right.
Like I say, we don't discuss our diagnosis, but you're in amongst peers.
Yeah, you can identify.
So, I mean, I absolutely love this place. Through this place, I've gotten the chances to do things I never would have been able to do.
Really?
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
2 years ago, I went to our national seminar in Washington, D.C.
You did?
Yep, and gave a presentation. That was a lot of fun. Had a great time. Went down with staff and members from other of the main clubhouses. I was treated like a rock star down there because we all wore name badges with our clubhouse name on it. And as soon as people saw I was from High Hopes, they had 1,000 questions for me.
Oh, that's great.
Mostly about employment.
Sure.
How come you guys are so good at employment?
Yeah.
So that was nice, and it was a good chance to network with other members of this worldwide community.
That's an awesome story. That's
So
really good.
Scott brings up a good point. Statistically, High Hopes Clubhouse is #1 in the world for employment.
Really?
Yeah. It's about 93% of people living with major mental illness are unemployed.
Oh, absolutely.
So we get asked to go all over the country to present why we're so successful with employment. And I really think it stems from the main work ethic. We kind of take care of our own.
Yeah.
And our members want to work.
Sure.
one of the biggest things that we can do, and Scott mentioned a little bit about it, is, you know, there's this feeling that people are always, they want to be on benefits.
Yeah.
There's nobody I know that wants to live in poverty.
No.
Being on benefits is living in poverty.
Right.
And we want more for our members than that. So we're very proud of our employment in the area, but you know, we couldn't do it without the main employers in the
Right.
Waterville area.
Yes, that's good that you have an opportunity to work with them and have them support you, because as Scott well knows, that truth be known, there's a higher percentage of people that have some problems in mental health.
Yeah, 1 in 4.
Yep, and they don't recognize it, or they don't see it, and it's like Scott said when he first started, excuse me, that no, it's fine, just needs a job. And once you do break through that barrier, regardless of the cause of it, it's a wonderful thing to have that support for him.
I found that when people find out that you have a mental illness, they have that stereotype,
That
stigma that goes along with it. And being in this community, it helps to remove that stigma, both with the members here and the outside community, because we are a huge part of this community.
Yeah.
And the more we educate people that way, that everybody can be productive.
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. Given the chance, given the opportunity, there's a lot to be said for that.
And a lot of, like Lisa said, a lot of people want to work. They want to have that feeling of accomplishing something. They want a reason to wake up in the morning and to leave the house.
That's absolutely right.
And without Clubhouse, a lot of people wouldn't have that opportunity.
It's
Very true.
amazing to see how fast people, they just walk a little taller the minute they get a job or they have something to do. So, you know, a place to feel that you're wanted and needed is great. But you're expected here. This is your job in the clubhouse, and you're expected here to do the job, or we wouldn't have a receptionist, so the cafe wouldn't be running. We wouldn't get lunch out.
Yeah.
So, and you can see people once they use their skills and talents to fit into the clubhouse and to help grow the clubhouse, you can see the recovery happen. I worked for many years in the hospital.
Yeah.
And you didn't see that
in
a hospital setting.
No.
So it's a fun place to be.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
Lisa. And looks like, from what I hear from Scott, you're doing a good job. You know, how do people reach you? What kind of a cover area do you have?
Well, we cover a pretty significant area. The Waterville, Fairfield, Winslow. We have people coming from Belfast. We have people coming from Jay, North New Portland. So our area is pretty big because there are no clubhouses in those areas, which we hope to change. But so people can call Kennebec Behavioral Health and just tell them they want an intake for clubhouse services, and it's pretty quick. We have a clinician that will come right here, so people can come right into the clubhouse from day one. They're greeted by a member.
Wow.
Their first call is by a member.
Wow.
So they really get the feeling from the moment that they get the referral that it's colleague run. We're colleagues here in the clubhouse. It's not a two-tier system of a clinician and a member.
Yeah. That's awesome, because my mind's going 90 miles an hour, obviously, thinking about different people that I know, and like I say, probably not 100% of the people I know either don't admit they have a problem, or they don't see they have a problem, because they fit into this group, and as long as they stay in that group, they have a comfort zone, and that's the way it is. But I can see that you're doing some awesome stuff here. That's really, truly good. And what's the number for Kennebec Behavioral Health?
It's 873-2136.
So folks, you can call them.
And you can always just stop in at the club.
Yep.
So,
yep,
and we'll help you from there.
Or it's on the corner of, as I found out, College Avenue and Getchell Street in downtown Waterville. It's very nice. And nice place you have. It's really good. It's kind of interesting as I came through to the room here to do that, of all the smiles and all the upbeat attitudes that I see between the staff and people that are here. It's just a very homely, very comfortable.
Yeah, when there's a saying that if it's a good clubhouse, you can just feel it's clubhouse.
Yeah.
And I absolutely encourage anybody to come in and do a tour of the program, because it's a good, positive feeling.
Yeah.
So
walk me through the program if you would, so that, let's say I'm the John Doe that walks through the door here, and I've been referred by Kennebec Behavioral Health. And what was that number again?
873-2136.
Okay, and so I've come in and referred to you, and I come in to see somebody here on the staff. What happens then?
So what happens then is you're immediately welcomed into the clubhouse. So we're going to team you up. Everything in Clubhouse, all the work done in the Clubhouse is done in a team effort. So it's really not about how much work gets done in the Clubhouse all the time.
Right.
It's about how many people can you involve.
Yeah.
So you'll see whiteboards all through the Clubhouse with jobs listed that need to be done for the day, and you'll see 2 or 3 names listed. So we'd partner you up with somebody like Scott, or it could be a staff member.
Sure.
We have many members who their talent is just making people feel welcome and educating them about the program. So from 8 to 4 every day is what we call our work order day. And so that is focused on all the work that needs to be done. We do about 140 trips a week in transportation back and forth to employment sites.
Yeah.
So members help drive our vans, schedule all the transportation needs. We'll do presentations out in the community. So people have a wide variety of things they can pick from to work in. So some people can work on computers, or maybe they want to learn computers, or they want to develop our spreadsheets. We have members that have totally designed our spreadsheets for tracking our membership and our wages. So, or it might be just helping cook lunch, and that's okay. Sometimes walking in through the door the first couple days, just being able to sit and have a cup of coffee with someone is pretty important if you've been isolated for a long time.
Well, that's a point that a lot of times the future clientele or present clientele have been away from society, so to speak. They have very little social skills, things of this nature. How do you overcome that?
Just by focusing on their interest and their talents and their abilities. You know, we had a guy that came here for 7 years, that his main focus is he liked to empty the trash through the building, and nobody else could do it right. So he would show up every day to empty the trash, and you know, from just doing that, he worked successfully for 19 years before his passing.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
you know, he showed up every day here before he went to work to empty the trash. And he would grab one of the young adult members and he'd say, "Let me show you how to do this right." You know.
There you go.
So have people have some ownership in the building. All the decisions in the clubhouse are made by consensus. So it's not a top down. If I want to change anything in the program, I have to bring it to the full membership. And we decide as a clubhouse community what's best for us.
That's good. And I see Scott's very happy here, and the fact that he continues his relationship here.
Well, I feel a little bit of ownership here.
Well, you should. It's really nice.
The members are involved in every phase of the clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
When Lisa says that we work in partnership, we do.
Yeah.
Members count the money for the deposit. We run our lunch and snack bar run on cash. And so once a week, we've got to count that money and deposit it in the bank. And it's the members that do that, not the staff. The staff might oversee,
Yeah.
but we're the ones that fill out the deposit slip. We're the ones that count the money. We're the ones that roll the change.
Yeah, wow.
You know, that kind of things. It's not unusual to see members doing that while 2 staff members clean a bathroom.
Yeah.
That's the way that we work things here.
Huh.
Everything here is voluntary.
That
Your
is
your
great.
first day here, we're not gonna say, okay, why don't you clean the bathroom today?
Okay.
It's all what you wanna do and what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
If you're here for a couple of weeks and you're not engaging, then a staff member will say, hey, do you wanna try this today? Do you wanna try that today? And a lot of times, that's just the little slight nudge that a person needs
Well,
to get
over
up
the
and
top.
start, engaging with the community.
Sure.
You mentioned the fact that people haven't, have isolated and not been a member of society and might have some need of skill building there.
Right.
This is the perfect place to do it. Very diverse personalities here. Everybody is a different person,
Oh, yeah.
and you learn how to get along. Because who wants to come to a place where you're fighting and arguing with somebody all the time?
This is true.
So you learn those skills, and those skills are important in a job site.
Big time.
You've
important.
got to be able to get along with your coworkers. You've got to be able to get along with your boss.
Fantastic point.
And those are all those unseen skills,
Mm-hmm.
that people really don't think about,
Right.
but are so important when it comes to employment and just being out in the community.
So you want to talk a little bit about reach out? So I'll start the conversation.
Okay, and then I'll
So when we talk about isolation, that can happen at any time, even to our most active members.
Mm-hmm.
The illness can flare up. They can have some struggles going on. So one of the big parts about Clubhouse is once a member, always a member. And if somebody starts isolating and we don't see them and they're not answering phone calls, we do a lot of reach out phone calls. Just say, hi, how you doing? What's going on? When you coming in? We miss you. If somebody starts isolating,
Mm-hmm.
we will go knock on their doors. It may be with cookies, it may be with cake, it may be, hey, where you're at, we're expecting you. And Scott has been victim to outreach. And
Yeah.
so if Scott leaves for a week or so and
Yeah.
he'll call us and
Yeah.
just say, don't go to my apartment, I'm just down in Portland visiting or
Yeah.
something.
I had, like I say, I've been a member since
Good to have that.
Yeah.
I've been a member since 2004.
Yeah.
Got a job, a transitional employment job through the clubhouse, which led to a full-time job with that company.
Yeah.
Which led to me thinking, wow, I can work, so I'm gonna pick up a second job, a part-time job in the evenings, keep myself busy,
Sure.
And, both those jobs eventually went away.
Yeah.
And then I was with no job.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
instead of coming back to the clubhouse right away, I said, I'll go in tomorrow. I'll go in tomorrow.
Oh,
I'll
boy.
go in
Yeah.
next week. And pretty soon,
It's
months have
classic.
gone by.
Yeah.
And then, some stuff was happening in my life. And I knew that I really needed a place to go and somebody to talk to.
Sure.
It had been 2 years since I had walked through the doors here.
Yeah. Wow.
I walked through the door, and the receptionist, I get a little emotional sometimes when
Sure.
I tell this story, so.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
The receptionist looked up and said, Scott, it's great to see you, big smile on her face.
Yeah.
And again, that was exactly what I needed at that moment.
Sure. Yeah.
And
They
I
seem to know.
was a member again.
Yeah.
There was no, you have to go through the intake, you have to do this, you have to jump through that hoop. Nope, you're gonna be here tomorrow, great, we can use you.
Yep.
And so I started attending regularly again, went back to work again,
Yeah.
had a full-time job. One of the jobs that I'd had before called me back for part-time, which actually turned into full-time.
Sure.
So I was working 2 full-time jobs.
Wow.
And that got a little stressful.
Hmm.
And I left both of those jobs because I wasn't dealing with the issues in my life. I was,
Sure.
you know, right back into old habits.
Yeah, we seldom do. We always get back into our old habits.
So it got to the point where I, again, needed a place to come. And it had been a year, or maybe a little bit more. And I walked back in, and I was in bad shape. And one of the first people I saw was Lisa, and she took one look at me and said, "Up into the office, what's going on with you?"
Yeah.
And she made sure that I was safe.
Yep.
That I, you know, wasn't a danger to myself or anybody else.
Right.
And told me sternly, "Get back in here.
Yep.
You need this."
Yep.
And I knew that.
That's great. That is fantastic.
And then I got another job through the clubhouse.
Yeah.
The current job I have with the city of Waterville.
Yeah.
They called and
Yeah.
said, "Do you have any good candidates for this job?" And
Great.
luckily I had just come back.
That is fantastic.
And then that's a seasonal job, so the job ended when the snow started flying.
Yeah, a lot of jobs do.
Yeah.
So I
tried to end mine then.
I took some time. There were some family members going through some things, so I was
Sure.
traveling a lot,
Sure.
and I wasn't coming into the clubhouse, and I wasn't calling. That was the thing. So I woke up one mid-morning. No, it was mid-afternoon.
Mhm.
I had just gotten home.
Yeah.
And I was tired, and I was just getting ready to take a nap, and there's a banging on the door. I open the door, and there's Lisa.
Yeah.
"Where have you been? We're worried about you. You
Yeah.
coming back in? What's going on with you?"
Yeah.
So,
Well, maybe not that aggressively, but.
but
he
she
needed
was,
that.
she was making sure that I was all right because
Yeah.
of my history, you
Yeah.
know, of
Sure.
disappearing. And at that time, I told her I'm never going to disappear again because I need this structure.
Sure.
This works for me.
Yeah.
The fact that I can come in and be in a community of people.
Yeah.
That there's no judgments.
Right.
There's no.
Nope, and
You
that's
know.
fantastic. That is
So one of the great things about Clubhouse is we do have fun here too. So
Oh.
we have a social program,
Yeah.
but it's in the evenings and weekends and holidays
Oh,
when
yes.
everybody in society spends their social time.
Sure.
So you'll never see us going to the beach at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday because we're busy working.
Yep.
But a Saturday or a Sunday to get together and just go have breakfast or go to the beach or go to a
That is
baseball
awesome.
game, that's the kind of way you do your socializing.
That's awesome.
So to really get the mindset of folks who haven't worked in a long time, that during the week you have responsibilities to do.
Sure.
And it can be work here in the clubhouse or it can be working for a paid employment. So that's great that, you know, in the evenings and weekends Scott can come and check in with us and
Especially when I'm working.
Yeah.
You know, there are some days, you know, I work for the Department of Parks and Rec, and I'm outdoors all day long,
Sure.
and that gets tiring.
Yes, it does.
And so there are days when I say, I'm not gonna stop in at the clubhouse today, I'll just stop in for the social. And that works. Sometimes
Fantastic.
that's all I need is just to get my clubhouse fixed for the
Yep.
week, you know?
Well, I see it as understanding quite a bit about the nature of mental illness. That tether is a very important thing to keep, because you never know when you're gonna have to climb back up that rope again.
absolutely.
Yep, that
Absolutely.
slippery slope, you'll go down quickly, but it's a long time coming back up.
As a clubhouse member, you have 4 guaranteed rights. You have a guaranteed right to a place to come, a guaranteed right to meaningful relationships, a guaranteed right to meaningful work, and a guaranteed right for a place to return. And I am the poster child for that last one.
There you go, yeah, well, that's awesome, you know, that's awesome. It sometimes, I relate it to alcoholism.
Mhm.
Sometimes the first round it doesn't go, and then second round it gets a little better, and some people it just takes a little bit longer
Absolutely.
to get to the end of the road, and thank God you have the patience to stick to it and the club does, I should say.
Yeah.
You are the club, but it is, club members, it's your guidance that gives them the things to deal with.
Yeah, we work hard, but we have fun, and again, I'd really like to talk a little bit about our relationship. When I'm not a big fan of fighting stigma per se. I think we're all just people, and the way we fight stigma is just being good people in our community.
Yes. Good
But
point.
we have a great relationship with the Waterville Police Department, and Chief Massey and Deputy Chief Bill Bonney have been instrumental in making good relationships in the community with us. So
That's important.
so
That's a big stone.
yeah. Sergeant Dan Goss, he hooks us up with a lot of community events, so we can work with Thomas College, directing traffic alongside the Waterville Police.
Oh, wow, yeah.
We've had points where we've had a member who had a long police history, that finally got a job, and the Waterville Police would actually go to his job site just to check in and give him a high five and tell him to keep going.
Yep.
And it was interesting. They came here one day and they said, "Where is so and so been?" And I said, "He's too busy to get in trouble. He's got to work."
Yeah.
And so they were awesome around supporting him and helping him, even if he needed transportation. If the taxi didn't show up,
Yeah.
they'd help him, wait in a safe place until a taxi could come get him.
Yep.
He worked nights. So I just want to be sure to mention our relationship with
That's
them. It's been
fantastic.
huge in fighting the stigma
Yes.
around people living with mental illness automatically having issues with the law, because
Oh,
that's
big
not the case.
No.
Yeah.
No. That's
We participated in crisis intervention training with a bunch of police officers from the state, from around the state. And actually, myself and another member presented them with their graduation certificates over at the
Great.
Waterville Police Department.
that is
Lisa
fantastic.
sits in and helps interview potential candidates for
Yep.
any new positions over there. It's a great relationship because so many times somebody who's having troubles,
Mhm.
they're just thrown into county jail, and that's not what they needed.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and being able to work well with the police department, for them to be able to recognize this person needs some different type of help than being locked up,
Yep.
it can make a difference.
Yep. We do see a lot of people incarcerated for mental health reasons, and sad,
Yeah.
but it is a fact of life, and I'm glad you're working on that end of it, and
Yeah.
seeing that people can work together with the police department, because usually they're the first ones on site
Absolutely.
if there's a problem.
So we have officers that have our brochures about membership in their cars.
Yeah.
They're hanging in the Waterville Police Department, because lots of times they are the first connect with somebody who may be struggling.
Oh, absolutely. And like I say, people, a tremendous amount of them don't know they have problems. Because to them, it's their world.
It's normal.
It's normal.
It's normal.
And that's what they accept. And
It was normal for me to isolate in my bedroom for
Yep.
days and weeks on time. You don't think anything of it. I have nothing to do, so why leave this area where I'm comfortable?
it's absolutely right.
And
It's one of the first retreats that any patient
Yep.
or mental illness they go to.
Yeah.
It's a
And it-
bedroom.
and it's funny now, when I start to feel that way, I know it's time for me to come into the clubhouse.
That's awesome.
Because
you made
this
great
is
strides.
this is my comfort zone now.
Yep.
I can walk in here, and no matter what's going on with me,
Yep.
I can walk in here and feel comfortable,
That's
and
awesome.
feel wanted and needed, and
Yep. That's
Expected.
fantastic.
expected. It's expected. Don't come knocking on my door.
Yeah, there you go. That's really fantastic, and I'm so pleased with you. Talk to me a little bit about your employers and your relationship with them and the employment opportunities.
So one of the things that Clubhouse does very different than any other employment program is we do what we call transitional employment.
Yeah.
And transitional employment, where we partner with area companies for real jobs, going rate of pay, usually entry-level jobs that are hard to fill and high turnover. And the staff will go in and train. There's 2 job coaches for each site. The staff will go in and train and learn the job.
Sure.
When the employer is comfortable that the staff knows the job well, then the employer lets us bring in members that we think would be a good fit.
Okay.
And so the member doesn't have to do the whole interview process and have the stress of, you know,
Right.
dealing with somebody strange, training them for a job. So if Scott and I have a good working relationship here, and it's much easier for him to take that chance of going to work if I'm gonna be the person training him.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
the employer trusts us that we're gonna bring people in that would be a good fit. And we train the member until the employer and the member are both satisfied that they can do the job. And one of the big pieces, and then we start backing off. One of the big pieces of transitional employment is that if the member can't show up for any given reason,
Yep.
say they have a housing inspection or they did end up in a crisis or have something going on or ill, the staff member just automatically shows up at the employer place of business and does the job
Yep.
at no cost to the employer.
Right.
So it's 100% job guarantee coverage. Once they train the staff,
Wow.
they never have to worry about that job again.
Wow.
So there's no vacation or sick call-ins, or it's always covered. And then those jobs last 6 to 9 months,
Mhm.
and then we'll bring a new member in, because they're not to be careers.
Right.
They're not meant to be careers. They're meant to be self-esteem building,
Stepping
skill
stones.
building,
Yeah.
confidence building, and often lots of employment programs. If somebody works in it, for instance, if somebody works in a dish pit at a restaurant for 10 hours
Mhm.
a week, and they do that for 3 months, they're closed successfully and they're a success.
Yep.
There is nobody in my life that I know that's what their career is gonna be, is 10 hours a month in a dish pit.
Yeah.
So Clubhouse is always looking at what's the next step for you, where are you going from here? So we've had a lot of people graduate with their degrees,
Mhm.
and move on to full-time employment. We've had people go to supported employment, and we've had people say, you know what, I think I need another type of TE site, transitional employment
Yeah.
site. So, because sometimes it's hard, if you've never worked, it's hard to figure out, what do you wanna do? Do you want
Right.
retail, do you want cleaning, do you want,
Yep.
office work? So we try to have a wide variety of jobs that people can pick from and try out for that 6 to 9 month period, to give them an opportunity to get their foot in the water for employment.
Who are, just so we can recognize
Some
the
businesses?
employees, the
Oh,
businesses.
yes. So, now you jump in if I forget anybody. So we have Save a Lot.
Okay.
We have, I think there's 3 people there working, 2 full-time. 4 people
4
working.
people, yes.
We have Wendy's that has 3 of our people working there. We have Applebee's. Another employer is, Waterville Parks and Recreation. We have 2 people working there. We have Mount St. Joe's.
Mhm.
Joseph's.
Joseph's Fireside Steakhouse, we have 4 people working there, I believe. So those are just some of the, in Kennebec Behavioral Health, we have a clerical position there, I don't wanna forget them. Any place else I'm forgetting? We'll see them on the board if you
Sure.
wanna look at the board, but those are the employers that, Waterville Humane Society. Has been a huge supporter and employed 2 of our folks right now.
Good.
So, those are the employers who are willing to, give a chance to folks. Mainly Bruce. They started out in transitional employment, and they ended up saying, well, we don't wanna do transitional employment anymore, but we'd sure like to hire this person full-time. So,
Yeah.
that's
great.
a win-win for everybody.
Sure is, that sure is.
Yeah.
And it's nice
That's
to
not
do
the ultimate goal, though, is to have
Right,
members hired into the transitional employment slots, because that takes that chance away from the next member.
Sure.
So what we try to do is say, you want this person so badly, great, carve out another job for them.
Yeah.
There's something else that they can do besides mopping and sweeping floors.
Sure.
They're
Yeah.
doing a great job. Try them on unloading trucks or stocking shelves or something else.
That's
So we
awesome.
always try to save that TE position, because I have 150 people right now that want to try work.
Yep.
So let's save that position and maybe move them on to something else.
That is really awesome.
So of note, just because we like to brag a little bit,
Nothing wrong with that.
our members made over $1 million last year in paid wages.
Wow.
So that's just here in Waterville, Maine.
Yes.
So we're pretty proud of that. It's the
It
first
should
time
be.
we ever broke the $1 million mark.
That is awesome.
So-
That is great news.
We report all of our wages to, if you're on benefits, Social Security, food stamps, housing, everything's gotta be reported.
Yep.
So as your income goes up, your government assistance goes down, and that's, that's
And that's
another.
the way it should be.
Yeah, and that's another positive benefit of this.
Yeah.
Another thing that we need to stress is there's no failure in TE.
Right.
Absolutely no failure. Lisa thinks that I'm gonna work out great in the dish pit, but I'm just not quick enough. And the employer says, you gotta get me somebody else, this guy's just too slow.
Yep.
That just shows that that type of job isn't in my wheelhouse. I
Sure.
didn't fail at it, I succeeded because I tried.
Yep.
And that doesn't disqualify me from attempting any other transitional employment opportunity
That's
that might
important.
present itself.
And the good news for the employer is that I'll be doing dishes until I can find somebody that meets their expectation.
Yep. So maybe I should hire somebody. But that is fantastic to keep that on an even keel so that you can go in. And not everybody is fitted to the same
Right.
job, otherwise we'd all be doing the same job.
If you work one day, that's more than you did yesterday.
That's right.
So we're gonna celebrate that.
That's great. That
and,
is fantastic.
and move on from
news.
there.
Yep. And what percentage do you think that leave the program at any given time?
You mean as
I don't think they'll ever leave it. That isn't the way I meant it. But let's say they get to be full-time employees and
so we have
chance to-
well, I can track 36 people right now that have gone on to full-time employment, and we call them our working alumni. So, but they're the ones that are reporting their earnings, or every time they get a raise or a job change. I have a girl that's working in Naples, Florida, in the ER now, and she reports every 3 months her earnings and how her job's going. So those
That's
folks we call
great.
the working alumni. We do have people that go off to work and kind of drop out of the side of the club for one reason or the other. The good news is they're always welcome back.
Yep.
So
That's important because, like I say, there's a talent that has that bond
mhm.
that really is important to people, that they feel a comfort zone, in my opinion, I'm talking about, but not being a clinician, but they have that safety net that
Right.
supports them.
Right, and sometimes, I had a guy drop in a couple weeks ago, and he was a member here for a long time, and we just kind of lost track of him. He stopped attending, and he came in so he could be put on our alumni board. He's living in Tennessee and working full-time, and
Wow.
got his license, and he's got a car, and he said, I just want you to know I couldn't have done this without high hopes.
Yep.
And he was here for a total of 15 minutes, treated like a rock star by all the members,
Sure.
that remembered him and
Yeah.
gave us an update, and that's kind of what it's all about.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
So,
It's so wonderful to have that, and it's good in the Waterville area, to have $1 million wage earners, that's really,
yeah,
because let's face it, you're doing it for a training, experiential thing, and not so much for the wages, but to have that as a side benefit,
mhm.
really,
Well,
really good.
Yeah, you know, anybody who can live above the poverty level and be a tax-paying citizen, that
Big
just
time.
benefits all of us,
Big
so.
time. There's Maine people in general, some of them get into a cycle and can't get out of that.
Mhm.
But I see this as an opportunity for them to climb out. And
Absolutely.
be what they want to be. And as Scott said, you know, as your wages go up, your benefits go down. People rather work for their money than you would to sit around. There's many people that get benefits throughout the state, and we don't pay any attention to them, but
Yeah.
they disappear into the bedroom, and they
Yeah,
get
and
food
that's,
stamps or whatever, and they live there the rest of their lives.
and what kind of
It's
life
sad.
is that? What kind of quality of life is that?
That's right.
I would much rather be working.
Yep.
Struggling working than having everything, you know, being at the same level, but not having, you know, any reason to even try.
Right.
Being able to, you know, it's nice to be able to say, you know what, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna go see a movie.
Yep.
If you're, you know, if all you're getting is rental assistance and food stamps, you don't have any money for that.
No, and you don't
You
have
know?
any incentive to.
You don't, yeah, and you don't have any incentive to do it. And when alumni come in, or a member comes in and says, look at the new car I just bought because I'm working.
Yep.
Look at what I'm doing. I'm gonna go visit, I'm going on vacation to Florida, I'm going here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It inspires a lot of other people.
I'm sure it does.
If they can do it, why can't I?
Yep, that's absolutely right, and I hope this, as people watch this program, get that feeling that there's a lot of them out there that don't really want to leave the little safety net of the bedroom, because they're afraid to climb out and find a bunch of spiders or something, you know. But it does give hope, and hopefully those that are watching that do need help, that do want help, find a place or another comfort zone where they can be
Yeah.
contributing to society.
And it's important, I mean, if
Excuse
you
me.
think about introducing yourself to someone, what's the second thing they ask? First thing is, what is your name? Second thing is, what do you do? And to have an answer to that question is pretty vital to
Yes, it is.
somebody's
Yeah,
worth.
because if you don't, that stops the communication
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. Most people, they ask me what I do, and I say nothing.
Well, we can find you a job.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. But no, it is very, very interesting what you do. And I'm gonna ask a little bit about government assistance of any kind. Do you get any grants,
We-
funds, or anything?
For
to help you?
services within the building, we bill Medicaid under Section 65.
Sure.
Clubhouse is an evidence-based practice, so we're able to bill Medicaid. We also bill VR. Have a contract and a partnership with Voc Rehab
Mhm.
that for some of the job coaching, job development,
Sure.
duties, I guess
Yeah.
that we call them.
And for sundries, I need black pants to be
Okay.
able to work at this restaurant.
Yeah.
Sure.
I need steel-toed shoes to be able to do the job that I do.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're just going back to work after a lengthy absence from the workforce, you don't have $100 you can throw down on,
No.
on stuff like that.
That's absolutely
So
right.
VR is there to help with that, to, you know, get you back to where you can work.
That's
To have all the tools
That's
and,
great.
and everything, to do that, and it's great that, they're here twice a week. So we don't have to go down to Augusta, we don't have to plan it out that way,
Yeah,
'cause that can be a
that's a scary thought.
yeah, and, you
Well,
know.
it's a barrier.
Yeah.
It's a barrier, and
For
it's an
people.
all-day thing.
Yeah.
Because maybe there's two members who have appointments, one's at 10 o'clock and one's at 2 o'clock. You know, so
You're there all day.
you're there all day, and sitting in a waiting room, not a fun thing.
No.
We were very fortunate to have the Department of Labor and Vocational Rehab understand the importance of having somebody on site.
Sure.
We don't do job assessments. Our members who go on job sites need to be a real job and real pay. So having a folk rehab person here in the building, they can see naturally what folks are doing. They can see if they can focus on the computer, or they can get out lunch, or do they know how to bus a table. So it takes that out of it, and the folk rehab person just becomes part of our community, and they're involved in the work of the community.
That's awesome.
So they have that relationship. The other billing that we do have some grant money. The Jim Schmidt Employment Fund. Jim Schmidt was the director of Fountain House, the original clubhouse, for many years, and he retired to Maine and started this clubhouse.
Wow.
And with the help of Kennebec Behavioral Health. And when Jim passed, he left us some money that we can help folks pay their first month's rent, or buy a car, or get tires for a car that they need to get back and forth to work. The funds have to be work related, and they're usually a no interest loan. There's some grants, depending on the situation.
Sure.
So we're very fortunate to have that flexibility as well.
Absolutely, and to bring all, to bring all those resources together, to look at Scott and say, okay, I think Scott wants to do this. Now we can just plug these other things in to make it work, and that's a beautiful thing. It really is.
One thing I'd like to mention about government and how they interact with us is our governor, who is a humongous supporter of this program. When he was general manager of Martin's, he actually gave the clubhouse its first transitional employment site.
Really?
The governor.
Yes, Governor. Thank you.
Whether you agree with his politics or not, that man is dedicated to this model, and has helped this clubhouse out on more than one occasion.
That's awesome.
And his assistance and support has helped make us what we are. And I didn't want to not mention Governor LePage.
That's fantastic that you do mention him, because it is important from people in government, regardless if it's federal, state, or local, to be that body behind you, like we talked about the city of Waterville, and the governor, and I'm sure that the congressional delegation is very supportive as well.
They absolutely are.
And
well, it's hard not to be supportive when you see results.
this is true, you know.
So
you're working getting from point A to point B, and having that support that you need in between.
Right.
It isn't like some people can't, once they get into that bedroom security and they close the blinds, they cannot go look for a job.
We get lots of
They cannot
calls.
go out into society. They just withdraw from it. And I see that a lot in older people as well as younger people.
We get lots of calls from moms that their son is in the basement and has been there for a long time, and what can we do? So we'll reach out to those folks and invite them in, and we want to make sure that our building we have updated equipment and a nice clean building and a dignified place, because that's where you want your family members and your loved ones to be. And we want members to be proud to walk in the building. Our oldest member is 84 years old.
Wow.
And she's working 24 hours a week at the Waterville Boys and Girls Club.
Awesome.
And our youngest members just turned 18. So we have a wide variety of folks.
Yep, yeah. That is awesome, because it goes to show that there are those people, no matter where they are. One of the things that I noticed when I came through the doors, I said before, everybody's smiling, everybody's happy. It's a positive atmosphere. And thanks to you, Lisa, for creating it. You've done that very well.
Thank you.
Is there anything that I've slipped up on?
No, I think we covered about.
I think we've covered it. Yeah, we've covered just about everything. you really can't get the sense of Clubhouse from just a discussion like
Right.
this. You really have to come in and see
Feel it.
feel it. And it is a feeling. I mean, you can see people buzzing around, pushing mops and brooms and scrubbing toilets and sitting on the computer and typing and stuff, but until you really know that there's a method to that madness, that
Yeah.
there's a purpose behind everything that's going on here, you don't really see Clubhouse and what it is. So if you have any interest in this at all, whether you're an employer or someone who might want to use the services, just give us a call and set up a tour. If I'm not working, I love giving tours because it gives me a chance to talk about Clubhouse.
Okay, what's the number to reach you here?
877-0038.
Oh, excuse me?
877-0038.
Yes. Good number to call, folks. Take a tour, because I've never been in here in my life. First time. And the minute I opened that door, walked in, it was just it reeked of friendliness. And it really did. It
Good.
was, everybody was smiling. The lady came right over as soon as I walked through the door and introduced herself, and the rest is history. It was a very friendly, upbeat center, and I can't say enough good about it. It really was fantastic.
Well, thank you.
It's been a fantastic interview, and I appreciate you and Scott giving you time to do that today. And wish you the best. And if anybody has any questions, what's the number to call, Scott?
877-0038.
There you go. There you go. Well, thank you
Thank
both
you.
so much. And that does it for our edition of Kennebec Valley Forum. We're winding down a little bit in our presentations, and we will hopefully see you in another place. And thank you for watching Kennebec Valley Forum and CATV. We'll see you next time.